Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Whether you own one pet or a house full, animals are a great way for kids to learn about love and responsibility. Here to share tips on welcoming a new furry family member to your home, we welcome the author of Doing It All, pediatrician and mom, Dr. Whitney Casares. It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
You are living this topic right now.
I am.
Tell us about your new addition.
Yeah, new golden retriever puppy. His name is Potato.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because he looks like a little potato.
Look at that angel.
He's so cute. Yes, and my daughter named him. My husband refuses to call a dog Potato though, so he calls him Tate. And we all call him Tater. So the dog has no idea what his name is.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I have Henderson and he's Bubba to most of us.
There
So
you
it's
go.
very confusing.
Yeah.
Tell me about your decision-making process with your kiddos and their ages and things that you kind of factored into all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have two kids. One is 11 and a half and the other is 8 and a half, and they're both neurodivergent. One has autism and the other has ADHD. And so we really thought about, will this add more chaos or will this actually be something that will help our family? And the reality is it is a little bit more chaotic just having it be in the puppy stages,
Right.
especially during that witching hour in the evenings, which is like, I just want to end it all during that moment. But the majority of the time, it's working out great in terms of it being a soother, something that gives the kids a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that we had a breed that our kids could take on walks by themselves.
Yeah.
We wanted to get a puppy because we wanted to make sure that we could train it. We had a dog for 17 years, my husband and I, that was a pound puppy, and we loved her, and she was so amazing, and she had anxiety and was reactive, and we could never take her anywhere.
Yeah.
And so we felt like we wanted just from the beginning to give this puppy a fresh start, and that I'd already kind of paid my dues a little bit in terms of the pound puppy part of it.
Yeah.
So that's how we decided, and we got him pretty young, you know, at the youngest age that you can, to make sure that it has a good bond with its siblings and with its mom and all that good stuff. And we made sure our kids understood exactly what it was going to take and what we expected out of them to have this new baby.
Because they're old enough now to share that responsibility.
Yes.
How do you make sure once the puppy phase is over? That's kind of the hard part, right? Kids can kind of think, well, this is boring now, all these walks and all this feeding and all that. How do you make sure that the responsibility stays top of mind for them?
Yeah, so especially my youngest daughter, it's really her dog, and we got it to kind of be like almost like a therapy kind of dog for her. We told her before we got the puppy, listen, this is your child, it's your responsibility, and we will help, but we're gonna create a little chore chart that you will need to make sure that you complete every week in order to make sure you get your allowance and that you kind of have your money to spend on your clothes and your stuff that you want. And so we keep it pretty regimented in terms of that. We also set the expectations according to what we thought she would actually be able to do consistently.
Right.
So things like feeding the dog, things like taking the dog out for a small walk with us. Things like she's in charge of changing the water. We didn't make her pick up the poop. Like, we don't make her do some of those things. And we don't make her necessarily go out on her own with the dog yet, but more that when we're on a walk, she's the one with the leash, and that she's responsible also for going to the training and for learning exactly how to care for the puppy.
That makes a lot of sense, though, just kind of meeting your child where they're at in their development stage and kind of making sure it's the most beneficial to everybody.
Exactly.
What about families who, I know so many people like this, the kiddos are begging for an animal, but maybe it's just not the right season in life? How do you approach that conversation with them?
Yeah, well, we have had those conversations, and we definitely did smaller pets or smaller commitments for a long time. And I really suggest that as a pediatrician, I suggest that for families. So if you feel like you're having these battles with your families, pick an animal that doesn't require much maintenance, like a fish. That's a great starter animal. Or an animal that doesn't live very long, so like a hamster, one that they can start to learn how to care for an animal, but they don't have to do all the stuff for a long time. Or a low maintenance animal like a cat. A dog, I would say, is one of the higher maintenance animals, especially in the very beginning stages of their life.
What about little kids? What are some kind of hygiene and safety things to keep in mind if you are bringing an animal into your home for the first time?
Yes, so I learned a ton about this stuff actually because I'd never had a puppy. So a lot about parvovirus virus that can live on the surfaces, and we couldn't take the puppy out just for a walk until just recently, right?
Forget about that stuff.
Yes, so just making sure that the kids wash their hands and that they were safe with the dog before they came in from outside, for example, and that's great for little kids. Also, not letting the puppy lick their face or bite on their hands, so trying to train as soon as possible. And then allergies. We actually thought our dog had a grass allergy at first, which would have been a huge bummer because he got some treats from a trainer, which ended up causing him having this huge rash and having hives and being super itchy. And so just making sure that the little kids especially know what foods a dog can't get into. Chocolate, obviously, right? Like too much of the peanut butter treats that they can have, not having too many treats in general, and then looking out for allergies.
What about benefits, health benefits for young kids having animals in the home? I mean, mental health and physically, there are so many wonderful things about it.
Yes. So tons of research on the benefits of animals in the home for kids. One about allergy prevention. So when kids are around animals in general, they tend to have a little bit more exposure to those allergens, just like when they're exposed to lots of different foods when a kid is young. So that's a great benefit in my mind. Also, mental health-wise, that ability to co-regulate with another being. Of course, I always try to teach kids and families in my pediatrics practice about co-regulating by doing deep breathing together, kind of like matching the mood of that animal or of that person that you're with. So a parent taking deep breaths with a child, but with an animal is so much easier because it changes really quickly. So when Potato is all fired up, I can tell my daughter, hey, look, he's like really antsy and he's barking and I think he might be kind of worried or kind of anxious. What could we do to help calm ourselves down so then he'll be a little bit calmer too?
What a great illustration and just way to learn in the real world with all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, we're so excited for you. Thank you for sharing your sweet little Potato with us.
For sure.
Congratulations to your family. This is so fun. Okay, we will have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.